Hi everyone and welcome back to the Broken Turnabout. Last time, mystery, drama, a bit of finger pointing, Franziska, and a supervillain. Let's just continue. Is that who I think it is, Apollo? I don't know how or why, Athena, but yes. That's my old boss, Christoph Gavin, the real killer. Witness, state your name and occupation for the court. Apollo, he's glaring right at us. What am I supposed to do about it? Witness? Oh, my apologies. It seems I spaced out a little. Spaced out, he says. Next he'll be saying his murders were slips of the finger. My name is Christoph Gavin. I am a former defense attorney. I see you're still wearing your pin, despite no longer practicing? As a mere fashion statement and nothing more, I assure you. I find that a pin adds an elegant flair that is simply unmatched by alternative accessories. Wouldn't you agree, Justice? Stay calm, Justice. Don't talk to me like I'm your friend, you sick whack job! Say something you'll regret allowing the judge to hear. I see. Justice, I want you to know that I don't consider our time spent as colleagues to be a waste. Don't say anything, don't say anything. That's a real shame, Gavin, because I do. You idiot! I think the defense has insulted the witness quite enough now. Honestly, Mr. Justice, can't you muster up some maturity and be more polite to the witness? Sis? You'll have to forgive him, Your Honor. He's just a little unnerved from being face to face with a murderer. It's quite understandable. A murderer? See? Unnerved. Like I said, completely understandable. It's true, Your Honor. Mr. Christoph Gavin is currently serving time for the murder of Shady Enigmar, whose identity, might I add, I was completely unaware of at the time. I thought he was Shady Smith. I only killed him because I am an evil man. Yeah. Supervillain, everyone. Convicts testifying. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Oh, convicts testifying. Okay. Thought it was a verb right there. Oh, please, please, please let this one good thing happen. Your Honor, Mr. Christoph Gavin is already on death row. Yeah, that's what I was wondering about. I thought he was going to be dead by this point. And he was offered no deals for testifying. He has no incentive to lie, so you needn't worry. Besides, as the old adage goes, who better to catch a thief than a thief? But this is a murder trial, Miss Villain Karma. It's an expression, Your Honor. What I meant was that sometimes a convict's testimony is needed to prosecute a criminal. Oh, now I see. Why didn't you just say so in the first place, eh? Dang it, so close. Say, Apollo? Yeah, Athena? Why on earth could Von Karma be having Gavin testify? He's been in prison ever since your first case, so he can't be a witness to the crime or anything. And if he's the culprit, why would Von Karma ever bring him in? She would want him far away from us. I don't get it either. What's Prosecutor Von Karma's plan? For that matter, what's Gavin's? Your Honor, the witness possesses key insight into the defendant's motives and methodology. I have confidence that his testimony is what will close the case. Close the case, eh? We'll see, Miss Von Karma. Mr. Gavin, please testify to the court regarding the defendant's motives and methodology. Before I was imprisoned, Vera and I were acquainted. It was I who gave her the atroquinine. Vera was a bright child. Together we formed a murder-suicide plot with Drew Misham as the target. As part of Vera's plan, I sent her the atroquinine on a stamp inside of a red envelope. The stamp was the chosen weapon because Vera wanted to kill what she hated using what she loved. Last year, the time for the plot's fulfillment came. Vera murdered her father and tried to kill herself. Really? Whatever, I'll see how it goes out. Daughters trying to murder their own fathers? For once, I'm sure how I feel about it. I don't like it. I told you I'm an evil, evil man. And Vera Misham's an evil, evil little girl. Try not to get taken in by her delicate Sakarakine act. Sakarakine? I don't know. Such big words being used in this turnabout. Thank you for the warning, Mr. Gavin. Apollo, are you alright? You're turning as red as your vest. That Gavin, that testimony was a pack of lies and he knows it. Why is he doing this? What does he hope to gain from making Vera out to be some creepy murderess? I don't know for sure, but I'm not going to sit around and let him talk like that. It's time to end this. Ooh, we're going to be using the bracelet? Neat. Yeah. So this is Apollo's gimmick. His bracelet allows him to detect nervous tics, like physical tics, from lying witnesses. This could be a really short turnabout, to be honest, because there's no investigating, so yeah. Your Honor, the defense is ready to cross-examine the witness. I feel like this trial will be over pretty soon. Alright, Mr. Justice. If there's nothing further from anyone, you may begin your cross-examination. What now, Franziska? Or... yeah, Franziska. Miss Von Karma, what is it? Why are you stopping the proceedings? Something is the matter, and I really should have taken care of it sooner, Your Honor. I understand you're unfamiliar with Mr. Apollo Justice and Miss Athena Sykes. Well, you should know that they're rather well known for certain courtroom quirks. Oh, she's playing to win! By that I refer to the usual tactics they employ in their cross-examinations. No. No, 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 no! She's not about to do what I think she's about to do, is she? She is! You see, Your Honor, Mr. Apollo Justice claims to be able to see witnesses' tells when they lie. Miss Athena Sykes claims to have super hearing that lets her hear the discord in people's hearts. Obviously, such notions defy reality. The prosecution asserts that the claims are mere scare tactics meant to discomfit witnesses. Your Honor, the defense's tactics are legitimate and founded upon scientific principles. Athena's moon matrix was designed by the renowned scientist Metis Sykes, and my perceived skill is based upon my scientific principles of body language. Dr. Metis Sykes designed a moon matrix to help her daughter cope with overactive hearing. That does not give it any right to be used in a court of law. You know, it's funny to hear this from the lawyer who continuously abuses her whipping powers, you know? And while there is a certain science to tells, it's hardly evidence that a witness is lying. It only proves a witness is nervous. Unless you provide proof of the lie, your claims are invalid. Besides, there are plenty of methods backed by science that are still not allowed in court. I cite practices such as lie detector tests. Even handwriting analysis isn't considered empirical. Such difficult words. Even assuming Perceive and the Moon Matrix are legitimate, they still have no right to be in court. Your Honor, I ask you to make a ruling to prohibit their use in this trial today. No! We're gonna have to play by Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney 1 rules! Because there was no gimmick in that game. Or the game itself was a gimmick of the trial system or something. It was a parody back then, and it still is. Order! I will have order in my court! Mr. Justice, are Mrs. Von Karma's allegations true? Were you about to use techniques of ambiguous scientific caliber? Your Honor, I assure you, I had no intention of using any techniques that I did not consider entirely legitimate. But you don't deny that the practices are not widely accepted by the scientific community at large! It's because the defense cannot deny the claim, Your Honor. It's because they were about to use the technique unaccepted by the scientific community at large. The prosecution has nothing further they would like to say. This is really bad, Apollo. You're telling me. I don't think there's anything we can really do about this one issue, though. The judge is eaten right out of Prosecutor Von Karma's hands. Enough! I have made my decision. Mr. Justice, Miss Sykes, you will both refrain from using your techniques in cross-examination. Am I understood? Yes, Your Honor. Prosecutor Von Kammer just doesn't run out of dirty tricks, does she? I won't let this stop me. I'll rip Gavin's testimony to smithereens if I have to. Somewhere, burning all of that madness, there has to be a contradiction no one can ignore. Hopefully. Before I was in prison, Vera and I were acquainted. It was I who gave her the anthraquinine. What do you mean you were acquainted? How on earth did you know each other? Honestly, Justice, you of all people should know. You were the one so desperate to prove it last year. Vera Misham forged evidence for me. So you confessed then? You were the one who forged the diary page in the Grammari murder trial. That is beside the point, and you have no evidence to back up the claim. You know what? I would have evidence if you hadn't taken it all away. If you can't be mature about losing blatantly illegal evidence, Mr. Apollo Justice, then you can leave. Objection! Huh? Oh wow, he does have a sound clip for his objection? That's strange, you didn't use it before. Anyway, Miss Von Karma, you needn't direct your fury towards Justice. I should apologize. I practically goaded him into saying that. My apologies, Justice. I'll try to keep my wit in check from now on. Yeah, I bet you will. But to be clear, no. I maintain my innocence in the Grammari murder trial forgery scandal. I employed Vera after she rendered her services to the unknown party responsible for Wright's downfall. It was sweet of her to not mention the extent of our correspondence and relationship to anybody. She was lying to protect my reputation. We were rather close, you know? What exactly do you mean by close? I mean that we were close. That we were excellent friends. Upon meeting one another, I sensed her intelligence, and we hit it off rather well after that. We had to be close to have trusted one another with the plan we formulated together. Press. Why would Vera even want to do that? She loved her father! Did she? Justice, did you ever see them interact? No, but Vera... Well, sound the alarms! The defendant has made a claim that suggests she has no motive. Of course Vera would lie and say she loved her father. She didn't want to be caught. The truth is that Vera abhorred her father. As I said, she was a bright child. She understood that her father was manipulating her into forging paintings for him. Drew Misham kept all the profits made from the forgeries. Naturally, Vera was furious. She felt betrayed. Drew Misham only did that to make a living and take care of his daughter. Who told you that again? It was Phoenix Wright, wasn't it? The forging attorney. Those charges were never proven and you know it. There is no reason not to trust Mr. Wright. We've been over this, Mr. Apollo Justice. Mr. Phoenix Wright orchestrated the original trial to clear his name. Any evidence collected by him or testimony given by him cannot be trusted. Objection sustained. Mr. Justice, the court demands that you control yourself and cease to bring up illegal evidence. Fine. I need another angle. What should I ask about? Why is this only coming up now? I have three choices here. What was the suicide part? Why is this only coming up now? And nothing. I'm gonna go with why is this only coming up now? Why is this only coming up now? Why didn't you mention this in last year's trial? This will require some explaining, I suppose. You must understand, Justice. I was not the murderer as you claimed last year. I was Vera's accomplice. What kind of an accomplice would I have been had I been forthcoming with all of Vera's secrets so easily? Above all else, Justice, I am loyal to my compatriots. I only wish I could say the same of you. Your grudge against me has nothing to do with this, Gavin. Fine. My point still stands. I didn't confess last year because I was trying to protect Vera Misham. Are you satisfied, Justice? Well, Mr. Justice, are you satisfied? Am I satisfied, or do I want the statement admitted to the testimony? Oh, this is going to be tricky because I don't have very much evidence, but I'm going to have to amend his testimony in a way so that I can point out the contradiction. That's cool. I wish the games would do this more often. I guess I will make him amend it. Your Honor, the defense is not satisfied. I would like the statement appended to the original testimony for further cross-examination. Alright, Justice, I'll append it to the end of my testimony. Now may I continue? Yes, Mr. Gavin, please do. Yay. Yeah, okay, so this is where we were. This is still part of his original testimony. Yeah, okay, this is the appended statement. Okay. Apollo, your voice is still full of rage. Do you think you're gonna be alright? Yeah, I think so. Once I close the book on this case and take Gavin down for good. I just wish we actually had some evidence. Then maybe we could object to these lies. I know! His testimony just doesn't directly contradict any of the evidence in the court record. If I still had the evidence from the original trial, I would have objected a dozen more times already. Well, in that case, maybe you have to find a contradiction somewhere else. Somewhere else? Yeah, I mean, not in the court record. See what happens. Alright, Athena, I'll give it a shot. Yeah, maybe profiles, you know? Fair enough. Oh, wow, I'm looking at the profiles right now, and Emma is just 1 year younger than Franziska. She definitely looks older now, though. Anyway, yes, press. A red envelope? Are you talking about the envelope discovered in last year's investigation? That's right, Justice. But Vera testified last year that the red envelope was sent by the client who ordered her first work. And she also said that her first work was the diary page from the Gramarye forgery scandal. A forgery you explicitly claim to be completely unconnected to. Objection! Do I really need to spell this out for you, Justice? Vera obviously lied in order to hide our association. Do you think she would have been honest and said, this letter was sent by my accomplice? She was being cross-examined. She needed to produce a convincing lie in a very small window of time. Your reactions right now suggest that you bought her story part and parcel. Disappointing from our star student, to say the least. I'm your only student. But the letter clearly instructed Mr. Misham to use the stamp to send a return letter. Why would you write that if Vera wanted to stamp for herself? You're well aware that Mr. Misham has reclusive tendencies, correct? Well, these tendencies were the result of paranoia. Vera feared that if I personally sent her the stamp, her father would be suspicious of our association. He wasn't aware of our close friendship, after all. Thus, Vera instructed me to send the stamp in the letter Mr. Misham was already expecting from me. In other words, a letter that was part of a business transaction between the two of us. Mr. Misham would be suspicious of a business correspondence that he was expecting, after all. So I sent a letter in that red envelope, and Vera planned to take the stamp when it arrived. And how could her father say no when it was a commemorative stamp for her favorite magicians? The defendant truly thought of everything. What an incredibly detailed plan! I do believe that adequately explains the entire matter. Of course it does. It is the truth, after all. Gavin seems to have thought of everything that could possibly bring up. Seems being the key word. No matter what Gavin or Vonkammer think, this case can't be perfect. Just need to find a contradiction that will rip the whole thing apart. Alright, fine. But why a stamp? Why was that the murder weapon? Glad that you asked, Justice. You see... the stamp was the chosen weapon. I assume you mean that she loved Troupe Gramarye and wanted to kill her father using their stamp? Precisely, Justice. Although the defense does maintain that Vera did not hate her father. And I'm admitting that she did. She killed him, so I don't know what else to tell you, Justice. No, she didn't, but let's not try to get sidetracked, Gavin. What I don't understand is why Vera left the stamp in a frame if she was using it as a weapon. You said it yourself in the trial last year. Drew Misham wasn't even planning on using the stamp. That's a pretty poor excuse for a murder weapon.
Objection!
Allow me to explain. Vera was a bright child, but she was also very superstitious. I'm sure you recall how in the trial last year, she called the client who ordered the diary page a devil. She was talking about you, but yeah, I remember. Mr. Apollo Justice, if you do not cease to insult a witness, I will have you held in contempt of court. Well, that has never happened before. Objection sustained. Mr. Justice, please try to exercise some control. Yes, Your Honor. Gavin, continue where you left off. Thank you, Justice. As I said, Vera was superstitious. As such, she believed in fate and destiny. She told me that she put the stamp in the frame because she wanted her father to die by fate's hand. She wanted happy circumstance to apply the finishing blow to her miserable miser of a guardian. Thus, she left the stamp in the frame and waited for fate to do its work. I do not necessarily agree with her plan, but it wasn't my place to object. I was but her accomplice. I see. Mr. Gavin, truly the mind of a killer is dark and twisted. Your Honor, please, see reason. I would have made so many objections if I had just had evidence. Screw you for all of this, Von Karma. I believe we're ready to move on, Mr. Gavin. Please continue your testimony. Yeah, okay, so one more thing to press and then there's this. I'll probably press this too, but hopefully I can point out the contradiction through this. Because it might be the other thing I have to amend the testimony with, you know? Why did it take so long? Are you really claiming that Vera did nothing to expedite the murder? I understand that Vera was superstitious. She wanted fate to decide when her father died. I said she was a bright girl who loaded her father, not a talented murderess. What, Justice? Do you believe that you could have done a better job than her? Mr. Justice! Is this some kind of confession? What? No, of course not, Your Honor. Good. You won't want to see how I deal with murderers, Mr. Justice. Is murderess an actual word? I don't think it is. I think you just call female murderers murderers. You seem to be treating Gavin pretty nicely. Anyway, I assume that when you say Vera tried to kill herself, you refer to her poisoning during court. Yes, I can tell you that was self-inflicted. It was Vera's attempt at suicide. Poisoning her nail polish was a stroke of genius she concocted herself. I told you she was bright. It gave her a way to end her life at a moment's notice should she think she were being caught. Brilliant, no? Is there a problem with what Gavin just said? Let me check the evidence right now. Okay, I'm reading the news clipping, and here is its description. A news clipping about the rejection of the jury system. I feel like Prosecutor Von Karma only added this to rub salt in the wound. So I don't think I can actually use the news clipping for anything, except maybe later on. It would be quite ironic. There's a lot more to it, by the way. Like, I could read the whole thing, but I'm only going to do it when it's relevant. I'm still going to check to see if there is a problem with what Gavin just said right now. Okay, so the news clipping mentions that Christoph Gavin famously said the following to this newspaper's reporters. I will get my revenge on him and justice before this is over. That might be relevant. Alright, some more things of the newspaper clipping. Virtually no congressional representatives wish to make any comments after the negation of the jury system legislation, barring Senator Lemon Snout, fun name, who said the following. Evidence is everything, but have you seen Gavin's scar? I think this was a thing that you could find through Apollo's bracelet. Yeah. Okay, so as far as I know, the evidence says nothing, the profile saying nothing, so you know what? We're just gonna say there's a problem. Gavin, there's a problem with your testimony. Is there? I don't think so. I assure you that I'm telling nothing but the truth here. Really, Gavin? I find that hard to believe. You claimed that Vera intentionally poisoned her nail polish so she could kill herself when she pleased. But she fell victim to atrocinin just as her innocence was about to be proven, not her guilt. Yep. Ugh. Order! Order in the court! Mr. Gavin, do you have an explanation for this? Your Honor, Mr. Apollo Justice cannot just make a claim like this without contextualizing it. The prosecution demands that he explains what he means when he says the defendant's innocence was about to be proven. Oh, certainly. We had concluded that Vera was the true target of the crime and that a client had tried to kill her. To that end, we asked her who had hired her to forge the Gramarye diary page 7 years earlier. If she had just told us, she probably would have been found not guilty right then and there. Since we would have had another more likely suspect, she wouldn't have chosen then to kill herself. It just wouldn't have made sense at the time. Objection! I spoke too soon again, didn't I? Mr. Apollo Justice, you have just made a critical error! Oh, jeez. Dare I ask what it was? You stated I would have been insensible of the defendant to kill herself when she did, because the trial was proceeding in a matter that would have ended with her found not guilty. However, you have forgotten about one very important detail. One that you brought up earlier yourself. Atrocinin is a slow-acting poison. It takes 15 minutes to take effect. Tell us, Mr. Apollo Justice, what was happening 15 minutes before Vera collapsed? She was being pressured into confessing to her crimes of forgery. Oh my goodness. Well done, Von Karma. The defendant was not about to be found not guilty when she decided to take her life. She was being caught! Ah! Thus, the defense's objection carries absolutely no weight. Excellent catch, Miss Von Karma. I couldn't have put it better myself. Sorry, Justice, but the facts simply weren't quite what you made them out to be. Well, if we wasted enough time on this baseless objection, I'd like to move on. Mr. Justice, be a little more careful in the future. Yes, Your Honor. So, yeah, that was a waste of time, but that was great. That was awesome. Anyway, clearly we have to do something with this, or the other possibility. So, I didn't confess to my involvement in the plot last year because I was trying to protect Vera Misham. I could use the news clipping because it mentions that he said that he wanted revenge after the previous, like, the trial of last year, but I'm gonna press first. Why exactly were you trying to protect her? I already explained this to you, Justice. We were close friends as well as co-conspirators. An intellectual kinship existed between the two of us, and as I've said, I am nothing if not loyal. So there was no other reason for you to not bring this up in last year's trial. If you're trying to get me to say that I hadn't yet thought up of the story, you're going to fail, Justice. My testimony doesn't contradict any of the evidence. Stop flailing and accept your defeat with grace. You already thoroughly pressed the subject, Justice. Are you quite finished yet? This statement was already appended to the testimony. I doubt the judge will be lenient if I ask a frivolous question, especially if it's already been answered. What question should I ask that isn't frivolous and hasn't been answered yet? Okay, so I have 4 choices here. Why are you confessing now? Why are you so loyal? And why did Vera collude with you and back down? Well, this is the perfect time to make a save because we're going to be doing some trial and error. Gavin, there's something I can't help but wonder. Pray tell, Justice. Perhaps I can enlighten you. It's the strangest thing, really. You see, you said you were trying to protect Vera, right? That's correct, Justice. Glad to see you're capable of a first-grade level of memorization and recall. Well, in that case, there's something you haven't really explained. You just haven't really explained. Why aren't you protecting her now? What's changed is that now you're confessing everything and getting both of you in trouble. Trouble, Kristoff? What's with him? Why is everyone in the courtroom staring at us? Really, Justice? I thought you better than that. Isn't the reason obvious? Isn't my motivation clear? I told you that I am nothing if not loyal. Now tell me, what does that mean about how I feel about disloyal people? You dislike them? Precisely, Justice. Now, I know you don't agree with my version of events, but I assume for a moment I am right. In that case, what did Vera Misham do the instant she didn't deny the story you concocted? About me being the sole murderer of her father, Drew Misham. She... Now you're getting it, Justice. She betrayed me. When she saw you had won her case, she might have decided to adopt your version of events. In order to save her own skin, prioritizing her own well-being above our partnership's integrity. Betrayal of the rankest nature, the lowest degree. I cannot forgive a traitor, Justice. That's why I'm coming clean now. Why I have ceased my protection. For without our partnership, what is there left to protect? But then why has it taken so long? Why a year before you come clean? At first, I didn't realize I had been betrayed. The trial's outcome left me in a haze. Over time, however, I realized that the only way I could have been framed for the crime was if wicked little Vera had allowed the finger of blame to fall upon me herself. That's loaded language, and you know it. Fine, withdrawn. The judge can't unhear it, and everything besides the word wicked still stands. Your objection is meaningless. The core of the testimony remains unchallenged. You lose, Justice. Gavin, you're a maniac. Do you know that? Do you know that? Justice, you're about to lose the trial. Order! I will have order in this courtroom, eh? Mr. Justice, if you verbally abuse a witness like that again, I will hold you in contempt. Understood? Yes, Your Honor. I think you and Athena should switch right now, to be honest. Enough! Mr. Justice, you have failed to find any contradictions in the testimony that weren't explainable. I'm afraid that I simply see no reason to continue this cross-examination. Mr. Gavin is free to go. Bailiff, escort him out so that he may return to the prison. What a fine example of a witness. I scarcely had to raise my voice. No. No! Apollo, are you alright? Your Honor, you can't let the cross-examination end like this. Not now! And why on earth not, Mr. Apollo Justice? Why should we continue the cross-examination? Why? It's because... the real killer is on the stand? Or there isn't a reason? You know what? I want to see what happens if you say there isn't a reason. It's because of... I don't have a reason. I'm so sorry, Vera. I just don't have anything left. The only way to get you acquitted is to prove that Gavin did it. And I can't. Well, if the defense is satisfied, I believe that the witness is free to leave now. Indeed. Bailiff, please escort Mr. Gavin out. He is now free to return to prison. Thank you, Your Honor. It's been a pleasure serving the court. Farewell, Justice. You should visit me in prison sometime. You'll always be welcome. To be honest, it's probably a waste of time if you say if the killer is on the stand, so I kind of missed on some drama right there. Well, you can all play this yourself if you want to find out what happens if you say the killer is still on the stand. Also, I failed. Well, it seems to me that we've come to the end of the trial. I can see no reason to doubt the prosecution's argument. The defendant's guilt is certain. No, I can't let it end like this. I need to stall. Something, anything. You're a real crook. You know that, Von Karma? God damn it, Justice. You're not doing well right now. Anything but that. The prosecution kindly asks that the defense refrain from hurling childish insults. The court agrees. Mr. Justice, you're lucky I'm not holding you in contempt. And that's only because the trial's about to end. Afterwards, I advise that you think long and hard about your appalling behavior today. To be honest, you have been kind of rude to everybody, Apollo. One of them was a murderer and the other is a corrupt prosecutor. Come on, Apollo, you've got to think of something. I just can't. If there's nothing further, this court finds the defendant, Vera Misham. Yeah, hi, Phoenix. In that outfit. So I guess this is before Ace Attorney 5, maybe? It's probably also because, well, no, technically speaking, whatever. Mr. Wright! What? Who are you? What's a hobo do- ouch! Silence! That's no hobo, that's the infamous Phoenix Wright himself! What on earth are you doing here? And why on earth are you dressed like that? You're a lawyer again, not a washed up- Ow! Yeah, that's what I figured. That man is no more a lawyer than a common swine is. Political machinations, recreated evidence, the Masson system, the jury system. I've done my homework, Mr. Phoenix Wright, and you are not worthy of being called an attorney. Why are you dressed like that anyway? It's good to see you too, Von Karma. You haven't aged a day since I saw you last. In both body and level of maturity. Excuse me? Apollo, Athena, trying to hold out against Von Karma, I see. The fact that you're both still alive at all is impressive. Mr. Wright, if I may ask, why are you here? I thought you were in Karain on urgent business. Isn't it obvious, Apollo? I'm here to testify. Wait, what? Yeah, I guess it's because it's a 25, even though it had new sprites for Phoenix. It had no new sprites for him, like being, like, talking to other people. Or maybe it did? I think it did, actually. Oh, well, whatever. Your Honor, you cannot possibly let Mr. Phoenix Wright testify. He is entirely untrustworthy. Your Honor, you have to let Mr. Wright testify. It's the court's duty to examine all testimony. I'm not saying you have to believe Mr. Wright, but at least hear him out. Why should a court listen to testimony it doesn't plan on believing? I don't believe I've ever heard of a more effective way to waste the court's time, Mr. Apollo Justice. You're only saying that because you have prejudice against Mr. Wright. How can the court trust your assessment of the situation? This testimony could shed some light on the case. We have to at least check. Enough of this foolishness! Mr. Phoenix Wright was not even there when the crime took place. What could he possibly testify about? We won't know until you allow him to speak. The defense demands that Mr. Wright be allowed to take the stand. I said order! Thank you. Corrupt attorneys testifying, eh? I'm not sure how I feel about that. Please, Your Honor, I'll keep it quick. I just know I'm going to regret this, but alright, the defense is correct. The court does indeed have a duty to hear all testimony. What? Your Honor, no! No! The prosecution demands a 10-minute recess in order to process what has just happened. Very well, Miss Von Karma. We will now have a 10-minute recess. Court is adjourned. Well, this is a good stopping point, to be honest. Next time, more drama, more broken turnabout, and everyone's favorite super attorney. Until then, though, bye-bye.